Hello everyone, my name is Dayana Melendez and welcome to my presentation about the case of childhood lead poisoning from the smelter in Torreon, Mexico. I'll be discussing today the purpose and objective of this presentation, the background and the problem that caused lead poisoning in many kids from Torreon, the health and environmental impact in that community, and finally, the actions taken by entities to control this issue. The purpose and objective of this research are to study the health effect in children affected by lead poisoning in the community of Torreon, to demonstrate the environmental impact caused by this situation, and to explore the environmental and public health interventions to control lead exposure in this city. Industrial sites such as smelters are often located in residential areas where exposure to heavy metals through inhalation and ingestion of contaminated soil and dust is possible. This is the case of the smelter Mex Piñoles, located in Torreon City, which caused lead poisoning in children living in the area. The smelter went into production in 1902 and processes approximately 1/3 of the lead ore in Latin America. This industry was operated with little controls, causing environmental and health problems. What happened in Torreon City? In 1998, local health clinics received the first reports of lead poisoning that showed a high proportion of children with blood lead levels concentration greater than 10 micrograms per deciliter that needed intervention. According to studies, proximity to the smelter was a significant risk factor. In other words, the people who live closer to the smelter were the most affected by lead contamination. In this graphic, we can see the proximity of the elementary schools and the smelter. Yellow circles represent school locations, blue squares, soil sampling sites, and the red circle is the smelter complex. Now let's move to the health impact of this situation. According to EPA, lead is an environmental toxin that affects almost every system in the body, and they established normal value of lead in children's blood as 5 micrograms per deciliter. The negative effects of lead are greater for children than for adults. The exposure occurs when a child comes in contact by touching, swallowing, or breathing in lead or lead dust. Lead poisoning can cause damage to the brain and nervous system, development issues, hearing, and speech problems. Many parents of Torreon noted adverse effects in learning and behavior problems in their children. As you can see in this graphic, blood lead levels were higher than the standard value. In 1998 was approximately 20 micrograms per deciliter, being slightly higher in boys than girls. Unfortunately, by 2008, the lead levels became normal. The risk of lead poisoning is due to the way children played outdoors and because they are closer to the ground. This other graphic represents the category of lead blood level. Based on this data, it was concluded that approximately 23% of children had levels above 10 micrograms per deciliter. It was also estimated that 2% of children had levels greater than 45 micrograms per deciliter and were in need of environmental and medical interventions. Now let's talk about environmental impact. Lead dust released from the smelter accumulated high levels in air, soil, and water and contribute to the damage of the ecosystem. Contamination with lead also had an impact on vegetation and animal growth. Soil was the major contaminated environmental media, having concentrations above 400 micrograms by gram in more than 90% of the samples. This other graphic illustrated the lead soil concentration from 1999 to 2005. By 1999, the values were more than 2,000 ppm. After interventions, the lead concentration in soil has been decreasing over time. When we compare with EPA, that defines a soil lead hazard on residential property that contains total lead equal to or exceeding 400 parts per million, the values found in Torreon soil were quite high. Now let's explore the actions taken to control this disaster. In 1999, Mexico's Environmental Protection Agency imposed restrictions for environmental violations to the company. The smelter was ordered to reduce the emissions of lead by using air pollution controls, also to implement a pre and post remediation to clean up the area that include the relocation of 400 endangered families. After the implementation of the environmental remediation, the lead blood levels in children have been decreasing over time. This graphic represents the follow-up during 60 months. In summary, uncontrolled lead smelter in Torreon produced a huge environmental disaster. Mandated efforts to reduce lead pollution, clean up the area, and monitor the environment were taken to manage the lead poisoning in this community. Today, many individuals and the environment are dealing with the consequence of this event. I would like to leave this message. Lead is everywhere and children can be easily exposed. Lead exposure is hard to detect. In many cases, there are no symptoms or physical signs. Also affect children more than adults, causing many health issues that are often irreversible. Prevention is the best key to control health and environmental issues caused by lead. That was all my presentation, and thank you for listening.